Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Gualala Municipal Advisory Council meeting on February 11th, 2026. I call the meeting to order. I have a couple announcements before our secretary takes roll. One, I would like to acknowledge the reappointment of Henry Mayer to the council as a regular member, so congratulations.
Thank you, Matt.
And the other is I would like to introduce to you our newest member who will be taking Don Hess's seat, Nicole Everett. So welcome.
Hey.
Thank you, glad to be here.
Okay, with that, would you like to take the roll?
My pleasure. Okay, Councilmember Everett.
Here.
Good. Councilmember Lewis.
Here.
Chair Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Hayward.
Here.
Councilmember Youngling.
Here.
Councilmember Mayer.
Here.
Okay, we're here.
And Councilmember Finley.
I think Councilmember Finley, I didn't get a note from her, so I'm guessing she's absent.
With the absence of our regular member, Councilmember Finley, that leaves our alternate sitting in her place. So our alternate, Zach Hayward, will be sitting in as a regular member this evening.
Did you want to talk about our meeting dates before we move on? Or do you want to do that at the end?
We'll do that at the end.
Okay.
Okay, item number 2. Approval of the agenda. All of you should have received a copy of the agenda. I'll entertain any comments, questions. If not, look for a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Couple adjustments.
Okay.
I went back and found that the November 6th meeting minutes were approved on December 4, so I think we can delete that one from my list.
Okay.
A couple additional items of correspondence. After this was published, an email went to the group from Dan related to our new member, Ms. Everett, and also Henry sent around an email on the 6th related to the meeting materials. So those are the only changes that I'd recommend.
Okay. Any other changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll make a motion to approve the February 11th agenda as amended.
A motion by Councilmember Youngling. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Mayer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we have an agenda. Item number 3, we have the approval of 2 minutes. We've taken off the November 6th minutes. We'll take each one individually. So you should have received the January 8th, 2026 minutes. Is there any comments, questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Hayward. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Youngling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Okay, December 4th minutes.
Thank you for doing this.
They were kind of short and brief.
I like it.
Okay, you should have received a copy of the December 4th minutes. I will state that I do appreciate having a secretary here who is a little more informative as far as the information that is captured in the minutes, but our acting secretary was able to provide those, so I hope, and I offer them to you guys for review and approval, and if there's no changes, then we can accept those minutes as submitted.
You need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the December 4th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Youngling. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
which one of you guys?
Dan raised his hand.
Okay, we have a second by Councilmember Lewis. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna
Oh,
abstain.
Although actually, you should probably abstain.
Yeah, I
having
can't
not been present
until
yet.
I'm
I wasn't
do
there.
the
either.
oath.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
So we'll just go, plug that in. Thank you very much for approving that. That got me off the hook. Yes,
I think,
we will do that for
Yeah.
all of the minutes and
yeah, and in general, I think by our bylaws, in order to abstain, you have to state why you're abstaining.
Oh, each time?
And anytime you abstain, you have to say
Okay.
why you're abstaining. Yeah.
okay.
We were
We
both.
will-
I think
we will-
we
will
prompted
not-
it that way. We know why, but just,
Yeah, we will note that,
Just as a-
because she was not appointed until after
Yeah.
those meetings. Okay, thank you. Item number 4, correspondence and presentations, with the 2 additions that Councilmember Schrock mentioned. These are receive and file. We will not, unless there are any correspondence that council would like to pull to talk about, but they're just an information item only. Okay, hearing none, we will move on. Meeting's going quickly.
Keep it up, man.
We're on a roll. Okay, now we're to item number 5, our Mendocino County Sheriff Report. Deputy McNally, thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you. Good evening, how are you guys this evening?
Good.
Okay.
I'll try not to, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
We're good. I'll try not to kick over any of your wires.
yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. So I've got January 1 through January 31st, 2026 stats for you guys. From the town of Mendocino to the Gualala River, there was about 226 calls for service overall during that time for this area. There were 40 calls for service in Gualala itself. There were 2 welfare checks, 6 restraining orders served, 1 vandalism, 1 unwanted subject reported, 2 trespasses, 1 suspicious circumstance, 1 traffic stop, 4 security checks, 1 missing person, 2 follow-up investigations, 2 reported harassments, 2 frauds, 1 illegal dumping reported, 1 disturbance, 1 coroner's case, 4 civil issues, 3 citizen assists, 1 illegal camping, 1 alarm call, and 5 911s.
Is that kind of a heavy load for January, or is that?
It's not too bad. I think it's been a little warmer.
Mhm.
You know, it's not bad. It's comparable to last year. So I'm happy with it just being steady. So. Yes, sir.
Do you happen to know when that missing persons was?
I wasn't working. I don't have any information on it. You know, I had a couple missing persons last month that we solved them in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Right. I just recently had one where somebody went out of the area for a visit and decided to make a stop and didn't tell anybody. And the family, after they called all the hospitals where they thought they were, called us. And then about 4 hours later, the subject showed up. So
Best case scenario.
best case
Yes,
scenario.
exactly.
That's how we like to have them.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
I know that the county does not have a noise ordinance. Maybe someday we'll get to think about that. What and who would I call for a situation where I have a neighbor who has a big German Shepherd, and the dog is either trapped out on an outdoor deck all day long or trapped indoors, and it's really agitated and constantly barks.
I would definitely contact animal control for that.
Animal control, okay, because it's, that dog is definitely not having a good time.
Right, you know, they have some different authority than I have in regard to helping with that sort of thing. They may actually be able to contact the owner of the dog and give them some suggestions on how to help quiet the dog or make the dog feel better.
Okay, thank you.
Any other
All right,
questions?
any other questions?
Well, thank you. Hope you guys have a good evening. Thank you for
Stay
your time.
safe.
Thank you very much, Chris. Drive safe out there.
Okay.
Lieutenant Lee, I apologize. Lieutenant Lee wanted me to let you guys know he had another engagement, and he apologizes, and he'll definitely make the next meeting.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, absolutely.
We have.
I think we have to step up so you're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Mendocino County lost one of its newer young deputies that has been raised out here on the coast, and he is now a Sonoma County sheriff, I believe. So are we still holding up the population need for deputies to minimal, or are we still hunting a lot more deputies for our area?
I know that the sheriff's department is actively hiring. I can't comment on personnel issues. I'm not authorized to do so.
So at this point, we don't know whether we're down a lot or just holding on.
It's kind of in law enforcement, you're constantly fighting a war of attrition.
I understand.
So, there's always somebody retiring or moving on to something else or transferring out to a different department within the same agency.
Right. Do we still have a deputy living in our community?
That's me.
Correct. You can stay here, right?
That is our hope.
Yeah. You guys have a good evening.
Good night, Chris. Okay, moving on. Well, I guess, is there anybody that wanted to talk to our deputy?
Probably too late.
Too late now?
I didn't see any hands raised.
Okay, I need to check with you on that.
Yes, sorry about that.
Item number 6, public comment on non-agenda items. A maximum of 3 minutes is reserved for members of the public to address the Municipal Advisory Council on items not listed on the agenda, and the total time for public input on a particular issue is limited to 20 minutes. The council is prohibited from discussing or acting on matters not on the agenda, yet may respond briefly or ask a question for clarification. I will open it up for public comment. My question to you, John, are you speaking on behalf of the Streetscape project? If so, we do have that on our agenda.
Subject matter, do you want me to speak under that?
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
great.
for that, but I have some other.
That'd be excellent. Yeah,
So you say you have other things as well? Or just that, right?
Again?
Oh, do you have other things as well, or just that?
No, I have something else.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead and state your
Are you
name.
ready?
We are ready.
Okay, get your skis on.
First your name.
John Bauer. Sorry about that. I don't know if you've noticed down the street, next to Tom's Plumbing, between the firehouse and Tom's Plumbing, Church Street, and down the hill there, a lot of trees have fallen over. And I was trying to get Kevin to just take a quick look at them, but there's probably 12 or more pretty good sized trees in there, and there are white firs in there that have stump root rods way up here like this, and a lot more. And what has happened down the coast on our other properties at about the same coastal flat that's just above the ocean terrace, many of these trees have reached their age for dying. Pine trees, obviously, you've seen up and down the coast everywhere, but white fir have been doing the same thing. And I have gone in numerous times under my NTMP. I have a DDD, what's called dead, dying, and diseased trees. And when these things fall over, I go collect them up, and if I can get them sawed up into the mill, and if they're worth anything, because we're right at the tail end of the, I want to say snake, but anyways, the evaluation that makes it profitable for us to get a log to the mill. We're at the tail end of that, where trucking and logging costs and everything else and cleanup and whatever goes along with it just kills it. So I've been in some of our properties 5 and 6 and 7 times, just tired of it. You know, keep falling over. They die. Are they around houses? Well, maybe close. Are they around facilities? This one is. It's right next to Tom's Plumbing. A lot of the trees that have been worked by PG&E's pruners have actually been pruned on the wrong side, so they now lean more toward the road. And if you've driven by, you've seen 3 or 4 that have fallen into the end of the road, and somebody cut the ends off of it, and you see there's a 30-foot piece sitting in a Catholic church parking lot. And they took some trees out a couple of years ago, and that helped. Obviously, those didn't fall, But now it's so open and so available for the winds to really rip through it that I can't do anything about it other than take them all down. And that's something I don't want to do, but BG&E will have their crew do things, and I'll take the rest down, and we'll have a nice desert knoll out there, or a few trees. Most of those trees are, at that point, not gonna stand up. It's gonna fall over in the wind, especially with the rains and storms and the wind that comes across that knoll. I don't have a really good answer for all this. You guys can see them. Oh, crud. This looks horrible out there. And of course, some of them can fall over close to Tom's Pony, and some of them can fall over close to Waterman's going down Church Street, and some of them can fall over on our property and down the hill and over toward the Catholic Church, and in which case they should be cleaned up because they're a fire hazard if they're left laying on the ground. So I just want to bring that up to you. You understand that I'm probably not going to be looked at as the most gracious person in the world, because this costs a lot of money to clean up and deal with it, and the logs aren't worth much of anything. So I'm not going to try to burn the big logs, but everything else will be chipped or burned. So that's where it goes. You're going to see more of this activity, and I see it up on Old Stage, and I see it down Pacific Woods where people are clearing more around their houses. It can't fix Mother Nature. You know, you can't tie them all up and say, oh, this is great. But we can plant some redwoods, and we can kind of mitigate some of that. So that was kind of the first one, and then I want to go into later the subject matter.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody online?
Anybody for public comment on the Zoom?
No? Karen? Okay. Hearing no other public comments, we will move on to old business. Oh, no, we'll move on public agency referrals, sorry. Coastal Development Permit 2020-0031, Rittiman and Associates. Robert and I had that. Do you? I've got a little bit, but do you have anything you want to share? I know Amy is online, and she.
Yeah, I saw the email exchange between you and Amy, and so I looked through the referral packet, and I reviewed the water easement agreement and the spring test, which I thought were the only new things, but there was also a reduced buffer analysis I saw and a takings analysis. But no, I mean, other than I think it's good that they have the actual water easement agreement for that spring. I don't have anything else to really add. It's a very difficult property to develop as it is, and it's going through its fourth iteration, so it's not going to be easy. But I don't really have any questions right offhand.
Okay, and just for the council's information, this is a project that we've reviewed at least 2 times. And the communication that Robert mentioned, I did contact Amy, and she was kind enough to respond back that there are really no major changes to the site plan since GMAC saw this project last year. So, Amy, it's all yours. Is there anything significant that has changed? I know that you kind of shared that with me and Robert, but if you could share for the council if there's anything significant.
Thank you, Chair and council members. It's a pleasure to see you all again. And
Sorry,
can you hear me?
You're extremely choppy. I wonder if that us or is that Felipe? Did that come in choppy for you, or?
Let me
not
take it.
not really. I can totally clear. Yeah, I can hear clearly.
All right, sorry, everybody. Give me just a moment here. Let me see if I can do anything about that.
It's buffering.
Sometimes if they turn off their cameras, it helps give them more bandwidth.
Oh, here you go.
Okay. Do you want me to try again? Did turning off my video help you guys?
Well, sorry, give us another moment here.
Okay, well, while we're handling our technical difficulties, the coastal development permit that we've reviewed prior is on 46451 Gypsy Flat Road. It is a standard coastal development to remove an existing 157 square foot cabin and replace it with a 1,911 square foot driveway and parking area and a 1,548 square foot single family residence. Install a septic system, construct a supplemental well, connect to utilities, including an off-site spring and a water tank. As we mentioned the last time that the council reviewed this project was December 5th, 2024. And the purpose of this fourth referral of the proposed project is to enable consideration of additional documents which Robert shared, the water easement agreement, the spring test that was dated 2023, alternatives analysis, reduced buffer analysis, fuel modification and vegetation management plan, and takings and analysis. The recommended action tonight is for us to discuss the proposal and determine comments, recommendations to Mendocino County Planning and Building Services. This is, for most of everybody here, I think we've already been through this at least once, if not twice.
Amy, would you mind speaking up again I'm still working on the video issue, but maybe we'll be able to understand you better.
You bet. Can you hear me clearly now, or is it still jumbly?
That's perfect, thank you.
Okay, great. I will leave my video off because, of course, we know living in remote areas, high-speed internet doesn't always grace us. So anyways, thank you for your time and for considering this project again. And to clarify, the 4 out of the 6 items that were documents that were included in the referral packet have already been reviewed by GMAC at previous meetings. The water easement agreement, the spring test, the reduced buffer analysis, and takings analysis. The new items are the alternatives analysis, where Shelby Miller asked us to take a look at, the possibility of moving the house, moving the all of the development to be 100% out of the 50-foot Isha buffer, and the property is too steep to accommodate that gracefully, and minimize, the least environmentally impacting proposal is the project that we've submitted. And so far, Shelby has accepted that. Then the other item that's new in the packet, the second item, is the fuel modification and vegetation management plan. Fish and Wildlife has already reviewed this and accepted it. They've offered a couple of clarifications or a couple of recommendations, such as when falling trees, do our best to keep from falling trees into the drainages. I know, of course, as we all know, living in wooded areas, sometimes it's, the lean of a tree is a little too hard to fight. But yes, those are all easy things for us to accommodate. And to reiterate what I think Robert said it, there are no changes to the site plan at all since you saw the project in 2024. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Right, any questions from council members? Seeing none, anybody online? Henry? Okay, we'll bring it back to the council for discussion and or action regarding CDP 2020-0031.
What do you gentlemen recommend?
Well, sorry, before we get to that, can we review our previous comments? Does anybody have that ready to hand of what we said the last time we saw it?
I have a copy of your initial comment from 2021, and I can read that to you. I don't believe there's been any new comments, but please do correct me if I'm wrong.
When was the last time we?
We saw it in
this one?
2024, but
Yeah,
the comments she's referring to were 2021, so I don't think we had any other comments in 2024.
we didn't, okay,
I think we moved the project forward.
okay, great.
There's nothing like, there's no application pending, nothing, you know, that needs to be done that's not stated in the CDP.
No, I think the bullet points that you see in our agenda, all but two, and Ms. Nguyen just updated us on the status of both those. So, my opinion, as part of the review of this CDP, is that the applicant has met all the requirements and that we probably should move forward with an approval. Robert?
I did have one question, Amy. I mean, this has been going on since September 21. You sent out a notice, or the county sent out a notice to all the adjacent property owners. And I know there's been a property ownership change just adjacent to this property. It was the Don Cook property, but now it's a gentleman by the name of somebody else. Anyway, he has his water source just in the creek there, just below this property. I don't know if this got lost during the re-referral process, or if he was notified and if he had any comments. I think there's other people that might have their water sources downstream from this property. Any word that we heard on them?
I have not heard anything from any of the neighbors. I do know that the public notice to property owners goes out 10 days before the coastal permit administrator hearing. And those notices at that time, because of course, you know, for this project in particular, and sometimes others, it does take quite a long time to work its way through the county process. Whenever there's a change in ownership, the county sends out their own updated notice to the addressees. They no longer actually ask applicants to submit that mailing list because it takes time, and the county then will have the most current mailing list. But to the concern, the question about the downstream water, the Rittiman spring test included, you know, that GMAC reviewed in 2024. The Rittiman spring test was very careful, and the water sharing agreement with the neighbor that owns the spring. Rittiman was very careful to ensure that the only water that this property and this project will take is the overflow at the end of the water supply that comes onto the neighbor's property with the tanks. So it's water that's already coming towards the Rittiman parcel, and right now it's just I actually don't know exactly what is happening to it. It might be overflowing onto the property. But don't take that for for the answer. But this project is not taking any more water from the spring, from the source. It's just taking the overflow at the end of the line.
Right, I knew all that, maybe, thanks, but I was more referring to downstream of the little notch parcel where the water tanks are, that subject property, and downstream, where the euthermal stream goes in and goes to the adjacent properties to the west. I was concerned because there's I think there's two other property owners downstream that use that water for their drinking sources. I was aware of that in the past, so I just was wondering if that got addressed somehow.
You're the first person to ask that question. So with my tenure on the project, that's not a question that's been asked, so we've not had to look into that yet.
I guess I'm more concerned about, what is it called, BMPs, your best management practices when it comes to erosion and when it comes to you know, moving the boulders and all the things that are going to be done to develop this site. I would just encourage or would like to see that, and I'm sure I know Carl Rittiman, I mean, the applicant is gonna be very careful when they develop this piece, but it just occurred to me that it's gonna be very difficult property to develop, and, that there could be spoils or whatnot, erosion that go into the stream or the water course further down from this parcel, because it is, like I say, steep, and it could affect others, when it comes to their water source, their drinking water.
Excellent. I appreciate that clarification. And I that is something that I can address. And that is that our biological report, as well as recommendations by Fish and Wildlife, are very heavy on BMPs and making sure that sediment and debris does not get added to the streams and impact water sources. So it will, and you're right, it will be a tricky property to develop, but there are, all your standard BMPs and then very specific language about making sure that we don't deliver sediment into the drainages. And the comment from GMAC back in 2021, because I think GMAC was, has always been concerned about the Isha on the property and the drainages. That comment said that the Gualala MAC recommends approval of the CDP 2021-0031, Rittiman and Associates, subject to strict adherence to the biological scoping report, protection of the ephemeral drainage and intermittent stream, and county review of plans for grading the retaining wall and movement of heavy equipment onto and off of the site without damage to the Isha. And if you want, I can, if you want, I can review kind of at a high level what the conditions of approval or the mitigation measures and the impact avoidance measures are, but it's kind of all that good stuff that you would expect on a tricky property like this.
That was a good reminder. Thank you for what we said back in 2021. I didn't remember that, nor did I look it up. So
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Strict adherence to your own report. I remember that now. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant or the architect? None. Then what is the council's pleasure on what action should we do?
Make a motion?
I will be happy to. I will make a motion to approve.
Okay, I said, I asked you, do you want me to make a motion?
Oh, go ahead, Robert.
It's up to you.
No.
I'll make a motion for GMAC to recommend advisory approval of all the latest information that we have received on this iteration of CDP 2020-0031.
We have a motion by Councilmember Youngling. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Hayward. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Opposed? Amy, congratulations.
Yay, thank you very much. I appreciate your consideration. And Shelby is working on her staff report now. And with inclusion of today's motion, I think we will not be back to GMAC for this project. So congratulations.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome anytime.
Thanks for joining us, Amy.
You bet. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, Robert, I'll go ahead and send the letter. County staff. Okay. Thank you for that great discussion and input. We have no old business. So moving on to new business. Felipe. Happy
Hello.
New Year. We haven't seen you. Well, actually, you kind of got cut short in our January meeting because of a very large agenda. So please fill us in on Magdalena Homes and where you are regarding the
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Look forward to being there in person again soon. We have deployed the same homes that would go in Gualala, in other places, Sonoma County, Lake County, San Diego County. We've been really busy the last few months, and you all are welcome to go look at the houses. You can see one in Roner Park if that's convenient. You can see one in a place called Blue Lakes, which is about 20 minutes east of Ukiah. Those are the two closest locations that come to mind. And so we'd love to show you the homes. Now, moving to the specifics of our project, we are waiting for the scheduling of the pre-application conference. We submitted the request in December. We've been checking in with the planning office. Hope to have an answer on that soon. And then just as a reminder, we're looking at a path that would involve obtaining a mobile home park builder and operator license. And so welcome any comments, ideas from the community, maybe contacts or people you know who are familiar with building and operating mobile home parks, because that is the likeliest path we see from a permitting perspective. Now, of course, at Magdalena, we have the homes. They're fully funded, so people can rent them. They don't need to buy them. And so if we can just solve that zoning piece or the land piece, then
Did he freeze?
It seems that way.
Uh-oh.
I don't think it's us this time.
Hang on, Felipe, kind of froze.
happy to take questions.
Oh, you're back.
There,
You froze for a while there.
welcome back. Any questions? Felipe, we have a new council member, Nicole Everett, who's joining us tonight for the first time. Can you give a real brief summary of your project so she can kind of get up to speed on where you're at and what you're doing?
Right, absolutely. Thank you. Nicole, it's a pleasure to meet you. Look forward to meeting you in person. Right, so we've identified a property that has the type of zoning that would allow maybe 20 to 30 units to be deployed. When I say units, I'm referring to small studios on wheels that are NOAA certified. Happy to tell you more about that. And these studios are really easy to deploy. We've been deploying them in other locations. We have now over a year.
Uh-oh.
For once, I'm pretty sure this is not my fault.
I did actually look them up, so I have a little bit of an idea.
We can start deploying the homes and there's a lot of number of homes that are deployed, the timeline, etc. The beauty of homes on wheels is that you can move them around. They can come in and out as needed, and so that's my high level summary.
Thank you.
In terms of the location, it's just west of the existing mobile home park that's across from the Art Center.
Okay.
Right above China Gulch there.
Yeah. Any questions for Felipe?
I do.
Yeah.
Felipe, this is Zach. Last time you guys were here, you were talking, you kind of gave us the rundown as to what the monthly costs are for renting the units. If I remember correctly, it came to a total of $1,500 a month for, the fees and, the property owner tax and all that stuff. Are the utilities included in that? Because I know that in some of your other projects you have, water delivered, and you have extraction of black water, so you have like a set of subcontractors that kind of maintain those types of utilities.
Yeah, great question. So just to give you the full range, in the absolute best case scenario, when we deploy in a property, the land is free, water's there, the infrastructure is ready. And in those cases, the rent can be as low as $900 a month because all we have to charge for is just the unit itself, and that's $900. That's what we pay our investors. In the worst case scenario we've seen, and this is in Sonoma County, the land is quite expensive, and so the rent there is $1,700 a month. That's kind of the full range that we've seen. For Gualala at this early stage, yes, we're estimating around 1,500. But just like you said, that ultimately depends on how much it costs to not just provide the land, but also that infrastructure, whatever infrastructure is needed. The good news is that there's a sewer line there already, just to remind everyone. Power is across the street, not too difficult. And then water, if we can have that delivered by truck, we would be solving a problem until there's a well built that would supply water to the community.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions from anyone? Any questions from anybody else?
May I just also invite everybody to visit our new website. It has lots of great photos, including photos of the homes that people have been using now for over a year across a bunch of locations. And so I think that's a really great resource.
Can you send us, either myself or Henry, the link and we can post it on our?
Magdalena.1, and I'll put
Exactly.
it,
Okay,
yeah,
then we'll put that on our website.
yeah, I'll add it to the site, maybe we can even throw it in the minutes.
Okay.
for
Oh,
the
it's a
second,
separate
so.
copy, so we can take a peek at it as well?
Hmm?
So include it in the minutes so then we can link up to it
Yeah.
separately? Okay, great.
I have one more
Great.
question.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, hang on, we got a couple
Oh.
more questions.
Yes.
Sorry, it's Zach again. I had another question. You mentioned the closest locations where there's a demo available for people to see. The last time you guys were here, you talked about potentially parking one here in Gualala. Were you not able to make any headway with that, or has there been any discussion about that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, new homes are arriving regularly. The next one arrives in about a week. So it goes to Oakland, and then from there we could bring it to Gualala, but we would just need a space for the home. And also we can't have the home sitting empty for a long time because we have to pay a return to the investors who fund these homes. And so we'd have to find a location where the home can be occupied and somebody can be paying rent. That's it. But yeah, if we can make that happen, we could have the home there within 20 days.
Okay, Robert?
You're gonna have a pre-conference meeting with the county, you said in March, right?
We're hoping March. They haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't received a date yet. So I followed up with Julia Krog today, see if we can get that going.
So will you be addressing with the county water issues that Gualala's faced with, or?
That's part of that will be part of the conversation, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Thank you.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on, John, you got a comment?
Yes,
Go ahead and state your name, just.
John Bauer.
Thank you.
In light of the lack of service connections for them and the possible needs for fire protection, in hydrant spacing, it would be demanded by either NFPA, whatever it is, codes, or the fire district demands. There may be some additional needs that have to be taken care of that are not currently probably thought about. So that's just one subject. The other is that China Gulch is now, the culvert is now set up with fisheries passing devices that no longer obstruct the ability of fish to climb that 6-foot space off the tail end of the culvert. Now that it joins into a rocky area near the flow line of the river. So that may create an additional, I want to say, stress on fisheries in the process of doing this, and I don't know if Fish and Wildlife would have a change of attitude from no longer being able to pass fish through there to be able to pass fish. And I realize that this fish passage thing is kind of a, I want to say a nightmare, because China Gulch doesn't go up very far. It's only a couple hundred yards, and then it's too steep for fish to climb up. So you got a couple hundred yards of fisheries, maybe habitat. And, you know, I'm kind of afraid that Fish and Wildlife is taking this on in a much heavier application than it really needs to be, but life goes on. So those couple things, fire protection and the fisheries ideas may have to be addressed again if it hasn't been.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I can.
One other question. You had mentioned at a previous meeting that you had a tiny home located in Boonville. Is that still there?
Yeah, it's 3 actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but those are occupied, and so we try not to disturb the residents there. And so the 2 that I mentioned, or the 2 locations that I mentioned, have multiple homes, but each location has one that is available for showings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could I say one more thing?
Sure.
With the increased number of residences in those 2 parcels, the 17, 18 modular homes above and these, subject matters such as walkability to get to town, and that is kind of pretty well in trouble right now, because there's guardrails and there really aren't sidewalks or walking areas to join the current streetscape, even though the streetscape that was imposed by the town plan actually was supposed to go up to 501. And so there aren't sidewalks in there. There's some possible bioswales in there. The whole thing has changed a lot. I don't know whether Caltrans is even seeing any of this emergency work that's been done out there, or anybody's even thinking about getting people around town better with some additional sidewalks that join these big long stripes that go down the street and quit at Center Street. So anyway, that's just a thought, and I think it would be much more comfortable for a lot of those folks to be able to walk to town if it's only a quarter mile.
Excellent point. Thank you. Any other questions for Felipe? Felipe, thank you for spending your evening with us.
Of course, always a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Great to see you.
Have a great
Thanks,
evening.
Felipe.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, that concludes new business. On to committee reports. Mr. Mayor, I know you've been in constant contact with county staff. You want to give us an update?
Yeah, so the most recent communication I have from Doug Anderson, which I will just mention, he reached out to me this time, which was nice. So he said, the issues regarding the forest conversion permit and product approvals for this phase of the project have been resolved, and work has been proceeding consistently throughout this beneficial weather pattern in January. The spillway bridge, and sorry, this is from about 10 days ago. The spillway bridge concrete has been placed and is curing in order to backfill and restore the original grades for the new path and railings. The baseball backstop poles have been set, and the contractor's working on the ADA paths and flat work between the bathroom and the ball field area, including widening the bathroom deck for ADA compliance. Tree removal and initial grading have been completed for the expansion of the ADA parking adjacent to the bathroom and the basketball court. As they complete the ball field area improvements, the plan is to progress south and west to complete access to the picnic and playground areas, basketball court and tennis court, with the parking improvements closer to the end of this phase. The county has completed the order for the playground equipment and is working on bids for the athletic equipment to be available to install in phase 2. As long as the weather holds, the contractor will continue to make progress this winter with the opportunity to increase production as daylight and warmth builds. So that all sounds like actual progress is being made, which is wonderful news. I did send a follow-up asking what playground equipment was ordered. I have not heard back. I will ping Doug again tomorrow. And then I also I reached out to Coast Little League to ask about what dates they care about so that we could communicate that. I have not heard back from them either. So I don't know what dates to tell them, but I would love to put the two sides in contact with each other so at least everybody knows what the situation is going to be. I think it's unlikely that things are going to be ready for people to use it when Coast Little League starts up, but.
All right. Nicole, for your benefit, the county of Mendocino shut down Bower Park because of dangerous situation with falling trees. As a result, it displaced a lot of people, including Coast Little League. So what the county has asked GMAC to do is serve as the front line contact and the go-between between the county and the community. So we formed a committee, Dan Lewis and Henry and myself, to kind of serve as that mouthpiece to send the information out regarding updates on the project and also carry back a message to the county as well. So we're hoping, and as you heard with Henry's report, we're getting some work done. We got a $2.2 million grant from the state of California, from actually their parks division of the county, to do some refurbishment of Bower Park. So we're excited about that it's moving forward.
That's excellent.
And as Henry mentioned, it may happen.
It seems to be happening.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Progress.
They're in there, they're doing stuff. I drive over like, yep, they're in there. They're doing stuff. It's great. It's great to see.
So we're very excited.
Is there a final date set for opening? No.
Definitely.
No.
But the good news, John, from which I reported on at our last meeting, was that they have not said that they're not going to hit the original performance period, which, if I remember correctly, was end of June, I think was the performance period. They haven't said they're not going to hit that. I'd be surprised if they did. But they did get the state to agree to extend the performance period. So the money's not going to expire if they don't finish the project by then.
And the other thing too is there are delays because of rain. So they get rain delays and they get to tack that in on the end. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do have a question about it. So are they planning to keep everything closed the entire duration, or possibly opening section by section, like you were saying for the field, for instance, or we don't know?
We have asked for them to phase openings. They've been pretty reluctant to do that. It does add a lot of extra fencing work and there are potential liabilities issues. I don't think anybody's in a rush to have a bunch of kids playing
Near
adjacent an active construction site. So it would be really nice to be able to do it that way. I don't
But
think
it's
it's gonna
unlikely.
happen, but we've asked for it. And I understand why they're not in a rush to do it.
Of course.
Okay, anybody? Oh, I don't see anybody online. Any other further questions? Dan, do you have anything to add?
No, I've been driving by there, this chain link world.
Right, any other questions from the council? Okay, we will move on. Item 10.2, Caltrans SR1 Gualala Downtown Streetscape Project.
Quick update.
Well, hang on.
Oh, excuse me.
You want me to get out of here?
Well, for Nicole's benefit, Robert, go ahead and, Robert,
Yeah.
come back. If you could, for the record and also for Nicole's benefit, if you could mention why you're recusing yourself, that way she doesn't understand why you just got up and left.
Nicole,
Yes.
through a long, drawn-out procedure, it was best that I recuse myself on this subject matter. Talking with county council, talking with my own council, I'm a partial property owner in downtown Gualala, and all these years, I've always come from a public generally perspective, but it was thought I better recuse myself. So
Understood.
that's why I do this.
Thank you.
Someday I'll be able to stay there.
Okay, hang on.
Before we do that, I have not heard Nicole's, background or what her knowledge is and what her understanding.
Well, we'll be happy to do that under council comments. We'll have her kind of introduce herself and ask her why she chose to join this group. So, Mr. Spock, would you like to?
Okay. As you are no doubt aware, California Coastal Commission considered 2 appeals. The hearing was held on the 4th of February. After taking public hearing and also hearing from the appellants, the Coastal Commission decided that the appeals did not raise any substantive issue under the California Coastal Act, and therefore affirmed the Mendocino County Coastal Development Permit approval. Subsequently, what we expect is that the county and Caltrans, who've made great progress on negotiating a perpetual agreement to maintain landscaping that would be installed by the project in 2 peripheral locations on north and south, essentially approaching into the project. Now that the appeal and the administrative process has been exhausted, my expectation is the county will likely execute the landscaping agreement, which is great. And that will enable Caltrans to move forward with decorative landscaping at about 5,000 square feet of decorative landscaping, roughly split halfway between a location in front of the community center and a location in front of the Seascape Mall. The Caltrans milestone report, the agency publishes one on a quarterly basis. Their December update showed that the project is expected to begin construction this August and would be expected to be done by the end of 2017.
27.
2027.
2027. Thank you.
Occasionally we all lose a decade.
No, good catch, great. Yeah, time warp. I'm available for any questions if you have any.
Any questions from council?
I just have one follow-up comment on that, which was that in terms of the delay in the maintenance agreement, my understanding, for what it's worth, is that it was Caltrans that was unwilling to move forward with the process until the Coastal Commission appeal was held. That they wanted to wait until that appeal happened to keep moving forward with the county on the maintenance agreement, is what I was told.
Okay, I have a different understanding. My understanding is that both the county and Caltrans are prepared to execute. They both stood down, waiting for the appeals to be resolved. So at this point, they probably have everything they need. It's just a question of putting the pens on the paper.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, that's great.
Any other comments from council? Okay, I'll open it up for public comment. And we don't see any online, so.
Yeah, I'm John Bauer. Own about half of the businesses that are affected by the new streetscape. The properties under the businesses are individual tenants and other issues there. But I just want to go back quick to Dave. The Coastal Commission hearing, which was I want to say YouTube, but anyways, it's presented, it's online, it's still available for the 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think, of this month. And that particular part of the discussion started at 3 hours and 59 minutes or something like that into it, and went to 4 hours and 22 minutes before the final approval, which the Coastal Commission unanimously approved. Our testimony or our appeal on our side was, we were told the day before that we only had 3 minutes for anybody that wanted to talk for our whole appeal. So I let my discussion go with my attorney, and he was very good about stating the issues with parking and the loss of parking. But Caltrans had never addressed it, and they're not gonna do anything about it. And so we're in a world of hurt for parking in this community, and they showed a picture in their staff report that only showed the tail end of town from about 500 feet looking north to about the hotel. And it was done under a specific traffic condition, which was almost no one in town. And that was sometime right after the community center had burned. So there was no parking there, hardly anybody in the Sunstrom Mall, hardly anybody up and down the street, 4 or 5 cars in the street, and that's it. Doesn't reflect the busy times of our community when we're really stuffed and having a hard time meeting safety concerns that Caltrans was supposed to fix. So in this whole thing that went on, I'm really concerned. The staff person, well, actually, there were 3 presentations. There was Katie Everett, Caltrans, which she came in a little under 3 minutes. Dave spoke from GMAC's perspective, and he had almost 3 minutes, I believe, Dave. And there was, there was one more the staff person. Well, anyway, the whole thing, you know, they got like 9 minutes to talk. We got 3 for my attorney, that's it, done. And the Coastal Commission pretty much ignored all our thoughts about the need for parking in the community and said that it met all the standards that were set up for the Coastal Act's work within our community. And I understand where they went, but I still feel that we're missing a big piece of it. And it's gonna come back and haunt us. And I don't know where it's gonna go at this point. I do know that the person that presented I think it was the county's presentation, said some things online at that meeting that were not true. And I'm concerned about it. And I know Dave didn't take the opportunity to say, well, we do need more parking or anything like that, but he did support GMAC's 100% vote for that particular project. So, you know, we're just gonna go on and see what happens. I don't know how this is going to develop, but I do know that there were some untruths, and that particular picture in the staff report that showed that end of town with hardly any cars in it, just asphalt, and the commissioners all looked back at that and went, wow, they have a lot of parking in town. They don't know. They haven't been here during the busy times, like on the weekends. And we have to meet those needs. You know, that's just part of what we have to do. So I'm hoping that you folks will kind of mesh through that and start to see some of the potential issues that are going to start to raise their ugly ears and decide that, gosh, our town plan has got a problem, and you already know our town plan has a big problem with the GPD. It's been pretty much eliminated from town. There's hardly any property left for Gualala plan development. It's gone. It's a park, and then here we have a bunch of other things that have taken up. There's 10 acres now that belongs to the RCMS people, and then this was donated, and the firehouse has its position. So there are churches and firehouse and other things in here that don't really fit in the GPD requirements for development, and they need space. And so as we look at this whole thing, and I'm hoping you guys can put a subcommittee together, and that our supervisor then, or now, or whatever, will help us look for funds. And I believe the big part of this might be funds that are, because this is a coastal area, and it's under the 2 coastal acts. One is the town plan and one is the local coastal plan. That the Coastal Commission might decide that, yes, we have a problem, maybe we can give the county a grant to help bring up these plans into current status, because our local town plan has not been changed, it has not been tested in over 20 years. And you can't keep going like that into this black fog that doesn't work. So, you know, just from my perspective, I hope that that gives you a starting point where you can jump off. I know that I met with a community center group today, and many of them know nothing about this. But if somebody wants to look at it, it is online, and they can see how the vote went and understand some of it. But the background is my background that looks at this whole community for decades, well, half a century. And I look at where we can go and where we might go in the residential reserve and in building some of these roadways to take the load off of Highway 1.
Sure.
Are really possible. And they may not from my perspective of life, but maybe my kids or my grandkids' perspective, see some benefits of some of the early Caltrans, I want to say, studies that were done on Highway 1 that show the needs for Highway 1, like maybe we could get a roundabout down at 501, and maybe Pacific Woods gets fixed, and maybe some of these other areas get fixed, and then the whole thing gets built out where it belongs.
And I think your comments are a perfect segue into our next item, because we're talking about the local coastal plan and the town plan update. So
Okay.
that was a great lead into that. I appreciate
Well,
that.
thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Nobody online? Karen, I don't see you jumping up and raising your hand. Okay, any other questions, comments from the council? Okay, that closes item number 10.1. Welcome back, Robert.
10.2.
Now we're on to 10.2,
Oh, 10 point, that was 10.2.
or 10.2, sorry. Now we're on to 10.3. Thank you for that. Local coastal program and town plan update. Councilmember Spock.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. I didn't get a chance to attend the last Grassroots Institute webinar. They've been doing these on a quarterly basis. They're quite helpful. They're a great way to kind of check in and see what's happening with the local coastal program update. I think the usual group were speaking. There was probably an update by the county, by City of Fort Bragg staff. I don't know if anyone from Point Arena spoke. At any rate, GRI records these things, and so if you have time and interest, you can go to their website and listen to a recording of it. It was on the 15th of January. Other updates, though, related to the local coastal program update. Mendocino Council of Governments is seeking public input on local roadways that may be at risk of sea level rise or climate change impacts. So it's a resilience study. The survey is still available. It will be available through the 16th. One can get access to it from their website. Right now, the way the survey is structured, I found it very interesting. I just took it a couple days ago. First off, it's an attempt to triage a very long list of local roads, locally maintained roads that likely will definitely exceed the available resources to do an in-depth study for inundation or accelerated erosion or coastal bluff retreat, all those issues they're tricky technically. So there are a couple dozen roadways that are identified all the way from Usal up in the Lost Coast all the way down to here, the Old Coast Highway behind State Route 1. And so the query to people who respond to the survey is pick 5 and talk about priority. What are the reasons for first, second, third, fourth, fifth from any respondent's perspective. And there's also a free kind of a text query about some other road that might come to mind within the context of sea level rise impacts or climate change impacts. So it's an opportunity for any one of you, and I'm going to encourage you to do it before the 16th, because on the 15th, that'll be it. It'll close at midnight on the 16th, excuse me, to help MCOG sort through and ultimately pick 5 roads to study in detail. That's not a lot, but I think MCOG's idea is that with a small amount of resources, they want to come to a better understanding of what's going on with these highest, these top 5 roads on the coast, but also to develop a replicable approach should more money come into their hands, that they'd be able to go back to this study and have a already developed methodology that would develop a consistent, objective basis for comparing these different roadways, but also chasing money for dealing with these problems. So unless there's any questions, again, please go to the website and take the survey.
For the benefit of our newest council member, could you explain what MCOG is?
Mendocino
And also,
Council of
and also
Governments.
what
Sure.
the LCP and the town plan, a real brief summary on what both those items are.
Okay.
So she has a
Sure.
better understanding.
Ms. Everett, how familiar are you with the notion of a local coastal program, or the Gualala Town Plan, or the Mendocino Council of Governments? Because these are topics that can take quite a bit of time, and I don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely. So I have a broad overview of those things, as I did a little bit of research ahead of time. So you can just kind of bullet point, and I'm happy to do any of my own research on the back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Mendocino Council of Governments is a state-enabled joint power group consisting of the county and the incorporated cities in Mendocino County. The primary job of MCOG is to act as a regional transportation agency, providing a local platform for engaging a dozen or more different transportation-related laws in the state that do everything from planning through funding through project delivery. That's their primary job. The secondary job, although maybe it doesn't make sense to create a hierarchy, another job that the RTP has and MCOG as that is to work with the State Department of Housing and Community Development to develop the RENA, which is the Regional Housing Development Targets. RENA, what is it? Regional
Housing element?
No, it's not the housing element. I should know this is really bad to lose it, but it is 2017, so I think I'm happy to make it. Anyway,
Hasn't been implemented yet.
the regional housing targets, these are set by the state for all counties in the state, considering socioeconomics, demographics, trends in development, trends in migration and out-migration, essentially trying to encourage local agencies to build housing to meet the demands that are relevant to them locally and geographically. It's a big challenge. It's a big deal. Those numbers are translated into the general plan housing elements of all the local jurisdictions, the county and the cities. So they're really important.
Sorry, regional housing needs
assessment. Thank you. God.
Regional housing does need assessment.
Well, it does, and it's the housing assessment is done on a rolling 2 to 5 year basis, so it's happening now. So there is a tie-in, though, definitely a tie-in at the regional level between projected housing need and then the assignment of specific numbers to the different jurisdictions in Mendocino County, and transportation investments, because as we're all familiar, housing development, the need for infrastructure, whether it's water, sewer, or transportation, these are all tied together, and they all affect each other. There's pushing and pulling across all of these different issues. So MCOG is the agency that creates that umbrella and the connections between projections for housing needs, and then how do we respond to those changes in demographics and need for roadways and for transit. So on the table now is the 2026 Regional Transportation Plan and Active Transportation Plan update. This is again a rolling update, 2 to 5 year cycle. The MCOG Board of Directors, which again is made up of representatives of the county and the cities, and also a special district. The Board of Directors is slated to adopt the 2026 Regional Transportation Plan, Active Transportation Plan, at their meeting in March. And that's the first Monday in March. I'm gonna put my glasses back on. I think it's the 2nd. The really important aspect of the RTP ATP is it is the fundamental guide for all investment. So if a road isn't in there, if a transit project isn't in there, if some concern about transportation is not in that RTP ATP, it is not, essentially not eligible for funding for anything other than emergency money. And that eligibility is durable for at least the period until the next update. And then rolling forward, depending upon how the list of investments evolves over time. So for those of us here who have some concerns about how the roads are, whether they're maintained, whether they're wide enough, whether there's places for pedestrians to safely access those roads, whether transit services are adequate. All those types of questions are part of this regional transportation plan and the active transportation plan. The project we just talked about, the Gualala Downtown Streetscape project, has been in the RTP ATP for a long time, and ultimately because it was in that document, it was identified in the list of short-range actions, it could become eligible for a stitched together bunch of funding sources, including a highly competitive active transportation program grant. That's the lion's share of that capital improvement. So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let me finish up, John, before you jump in. I know you have something to say, of course.
Go ahead.
Right now, if you are curious about the plan, it's almost 200 pages long, lots of details. It is, however, a draft as of the 25th of January is available and can be obtained at the MCOG website. That's it.
Okay. Any question from council members?
You send us that every month, and it shows specifically Anchor Bay Campground or the turn in Highway 1 there, right? As far as sea level rise goes, but it is more, like you just said, other needs of our road system or public transit and all the other things you mentioned. But just within our jurisdictional area of GMAC, for the most part, is what we should comment on prior to February 15th.
Yes, there's a survey that's looking at local roads, not the highways. It's just specifically locally maintained roads, whether by the county or the cities. So it's both of the local agency types. Down here, the inventory identifies the Old State Highway as that example project.
Okay.
Not the hairpin turn at Anchor Bay.
Not that, okay.
Nope.
I've seen.
That's on the highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a state
So it's
road.
local roads,
Local roads.
Right.
Old Coast Highway, okay.
Another item in the list is Port Road in Point Arena.
So we can comment on that.
Well, absolutely, but
Yeah,
that's
when
another
within
item
our
that's in the list.
jurisdictional area As GMAC.
Well,
And-
you can comment on any of them as a resident.
Oh, fine, okay.
Right, there's no exclusion about geographic, where
Yeah.
one is, whether the survey respondent is located.
I'm primarily familiar with the local roads around here, but
Right,
so,
right. And you, as a person familiar with what's going on here, you might also take advantage of that wide open text box to share your ideas of other roadways that aren't in that offered list that MCOG should think about, perhaps in the context of this survey.
well, at first I thought it was just specific to sea level rise, but now I'm a little bit clearer on it.
Well, that's a great comment. The survey talks about both sea level rise and climate change impacts. And if one steps back a little bit from the edge of the water, almost every road we've got is being impacted in some way by climate change. You've got situations where the, high volume precipitation, lots and lots of rain coming down with a lot of energy. You can look at virtually any road here, any county maintained road in this area, where there's extraordinary scour in the roadside ditches, or where the pavement section is being undermined by too much water, either ponding or moving laterally across, where you're getting, accelerated alligatoring or just, pavement popping away. So I took the liberty there of commenting about a local road that's suffering from that kind of effect. It's not on the coast, but it's getting way more water than it was designed to, and way more water than the current level of maintenance is maintaining the conveyance capacity for. So that road's getting beat up a lot faster than the county's maintenance plan probably anticipated.
For that matter, we could be looking at the roads within Gualala subdivision number 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So that is the invitation that's in front of us. I don't know how COG's going to handle comments off their list, kind of a pre-selected list. Really, almost all of which are coastal. They're either west of 1 or on the bluff someplace, or in the case of Usal, north of 1. But the lens that's in the list is really coastal. But I would want to encourage them to kind of step back away from that and look a little bit more broadly at other cases.
All right. Any other comments from council? None? John?
It's more than 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Well, can you summarize it when you get to the 3-minute part?
I don't know, I'll have to see the clock. Dave brought a lot of this up to understandability, because there's a lot of people that don't understand, and I know there are some people that refuse to put comments in because they couldn't interpret it and do it in English, and I think they already have a Spanish-English version of doing comments, but
Yeah.
I did put a lot of comments into those earlier, surveys that were almost 2 years ago, and detailed. And I went over and talked to the folks at MCOG, and I said, hey, you guys don't show any of this. You really didn't do us a big favor in Gualala when you did an online presentation the same day that you were doing the staff presentation in Point Arena on this whole thing. And I said, Gualala residents really need to know where you're going, what you're thinking about, and you need to be able to bring them in to get their thoughts, because we're missing the picture. We're still missing the picture. And I don't know if, according to the staff that I spoke to, they will put my comments in as an appendix to the comments, because they were more detailed than most of the people. Says, give us a sidewalk, fix the roads, fix the roads, fix the roads, fix the roads. Those kinds of things, I'm sorry, Mendocino County just doesn't have the money to do it. And it's gonna be a tough road to hoe, or hoe to road or something. But I think that if we don't stand up and try to be counted with this, because there were no projects in the future for those periods of time, I think 5 years or whatever, up to 2030, there weren't any in the South Coast. The existing one, yes, Streetscape, that's there, that's already committed and is going forward. I just got a call from the person who's mostly affected by the Anchor Bay turn work at the bottom of the sharp turn. And he has done his due diligence and found that because it's not a coastal, he's not under the Coastal Commission's rules, he's under some sort of park rules and whatever else, and he talked to his congressman and whatever. They got the project pulled. Last week it was pulled. Caltrans is not gonna do it. So, the big surprise is, holy criminy, what's going on? and why. And maybe there's not enough funding, maybe they didn't want to put it off, maybe there's some other things going on. So there's a lot of political stuff in here, but I think you guys need to demand from MCOG to get their staff over here and get our community together and have a nice meeting that's more public than just private. Because what was delivered as a report just before they, okay, we're all done, I go, well, wait a minute. You didn't even tell us that you were gonna do it at GMAC, and I think I talked to you, Kevin, about it.
John,
so-
you're 3.5 minutes, just here.
Yeah, so anyway, the whole story here is, let's bring the public into this, because there are a lot of needs in our community that I think need to be added onto that list. And they're not doing them right now because there's no impetus for people to say, okay, come on, do this.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Any other comments? Dan?
I seem to remember that you had data at your fingertips about how long some of these roads have been without scheduled maintenance that they're supposed to have been getting. And I know Old Stage and.
Old Stage, Iverson, and 10 Mile cut off. The
Yeah,
last time they were
the Ridge
maintained.
Road.
Yeah, the last time they were maintained was 2001, and they're not scheduled to be maintained now. I just got an update on that in 2038. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
There
that's,
won't be a road by then.
yeah, it'll be gravel.
Yeah, I was saying invest in four-wheel drives and track layers.
Well, and part of it too.
It's not even 40 years,
Yeah, gee.
almost though.
But part of it is because, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with this, the county road department that was operating out of Point Arena, they used to operate out with 9 people. That was their manpower level. The last time before they basically transferred everybody out, they had 3. And because of state requirements, they had 2 people flagging. That means there was only 1 person doing the work.
Yep.
So that's an indicator of why a lot of the county roads are not being maintained, is because they just don't have the staff level. Deferred maintenance is a huge issue in the county, as well as all of you know, because that was also what created the problem at Bauer Park. So that's something that Nicole, you're going to be one of our people out there, the eyes and ears of the public, because there's going to be a lot of people that when they know that you're on GMAC, we are the mouthpiece to the county. And even though we don't have the power to make decisions, we can definitely submit our voice and
Kevin, I'd like to see you guys invite MCOG here, the staff, and to invite the public here and have a decent meeting with all these issues brought up, because I don't think they're hitting the fan.
well, I know that there is an MCOG member on the South Coast in Point Arena, and I will be reaching out to them to see if they might be able to engage with us. I'm not sure the hierarchy in that, if things are really supposed to go from us, because we're an advisory group, to the board, and then the board, because they have 2 representatives, then pass that on as part of the MCOG agenda. So I'll need to kind of understand that a little better. I don't believe we have the mechanism to directly go from an advisory group to the MCOG organization, but we can definitely reach out to a local member and keep them apprised of what's going on.
Anything else?
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
So the RTP, ATP, we just had a great conversation about local roads, whether they're maintained by the county or the cities. It's also, that document also identifies state highway investments. It's a really convenient way to see what MCOG and Caltrans have in mind for the county and certainly the coastal area. One of the big problems for the last 40 years has been that State Highway 1 is closed due to flooding at Gasker Slough and Garcia River multiple times a year for various timeframes, and that's a big problem. Certainly for Point Arena, but also for us, and for the schools, and for people who need to get to hospitals, and for fire life safety response. It's a really big problem. And finally, as a result of public input during this last round of update, MCOG staff have been talking with Caltrans, and there appears to be changes afoot in the new RTP ATP that will shift the priority of working on that problem from a long-range improvement to potentially a short-range improvement. If you're curious about that problem, I want to encourage you to download the latest draft of the RTP ATP.
Would you?
Pour yourself a large restorative beverage.
Glass of water, come on.
But there are two places to go look for things like this. Right at the beginning, there's an executive summary, which is a few short pages, and it will give you a very rapid snapshot into the book. And you'll see how, for example, priorities manifest for the state highways element. Later on, there is a much more lengthy and more detailed section. It's a chapter, it's a state highways element in the book, and you can see how the information in that element corresponds with what is reported in the executive summary. One of my concerns about the current draft document, which has been recommended for approval by the DOT staffs of all the local agencies that sit on the technical advisory committee for MCOG, one of my concerns is that there are some serious errors and internal inconsistency. So where the community has been led to believe that MCOG has responded to input and shifted the priority of the State Route 1 closure at Gasker and Garcia River into a short-range project, it isn't presented that way in the executive summary.
Just that changed, didn't it? To a short-range project?
It hasn't been changed in all of the plan. So it's a challenge when a complicated document is not internally consistent. It creates chaos. It's difficult to implement anything. And it also confuses the public who have invested taxpayer money in these types of exercises and are looking forward to their hard-won taxes having tangible results in the coming years. So again, if any of you are concerned about the RTP, ATP, and can take the time and look at it, I encourage you to do that. It is scheduled for adoption on the 2nd of March, not a lot of time. That will be a public hearing, so any one of you can call up, dial in, attend, representing yourselves. This group has not taken a position and has not authorized comments representative of GMAC, but that doesn't stop any one of you as members of the public from offering your comments either in writing or verbally at the meeting.
Do you happen to know what time that March 2nd meeting is?
MCOG meets at 1:30.
Thank you.
I don't have they'll get to the item in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
I really appreciate you guys letting me talk about this, so.
Not as much as we appreciate you talking about it.
We appreciate
Yeah,
you sharing
really.
that.
Very informative.
Okay, moving on to 10.4, economic development. Do you have anything, Robert?
No, really, no.
Okay. Nicole, for your information, what economic development was set up is to work with our local businesses. One of our biggest economic drivers is tourism. So we work with the hoteliers, we work with the local businesses to see what we can do to promote Gualala and be able to generate more bed tax and sales tax that we can help support our community and also keep our businesses open. Robert, speak for you. Robert used to oversee our Chamber of Commerce, and was there another term for that?
In the past, we had a Chamber of Commerce
Yeah.
visitor center, yeah.
And this visitor
It was funded
center,
by both counties, by the way.
yeah, and and this visitor center was very important with getting information out regarding our community and some of the great attractions that we have, not only to get people to visit here, but eventually when they look for a place to maybe relocate, consider our beautiful coastline here in Mendocino County. So Robert did a lot of work on that, and so that's part of why we have an economic development committee, is to work with that. Unfortunately, there's been some downsizing with Visit Mendocino, so their outreach hasn't been as aggressive as it was when they were fully funded and fully staffed, but we're hoping to re-engage with them. So thank you for your work on that, Robert.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any questions regarding economic development?
I'd like to just mention briefly, one of the comments that was made, actually it's a couple different commissioners at the Coastal Commission, when they considered the appeals of the streetscape project. A couple of them observed that the Gualala Town Plan policies related to landscape maintenance included the creation of a business improvement district. And we've talked briefly about that. I just want to ask you guys in the committee if you would just put your thinking caps on and just contemplate how, or if this notion is something that you would want to consider further and discuss with the council at a future date. I don't think we need to take a lot of time tonight, but I think having had it come up very interestingly by the Coastal Commission, I thought it was worth conveying that to you guys.
I get a nod from Robert, so we'll put our heads together and come back with some information on that. Thank you for sharing that point. Any other questions regarding economic development? Anything from the audience? Nobody online? Nobody in the audience? We're good? Okay. Moving on to 10.5, website, social media, telecommunications, community broadband access. Councilmember Hayward and Mayor.
Not much to update. I feel like we've now got the telecommunications system for the meeting in a good place and get a little faster at setting it up. We didn't have any networking issues today, so that's all good. I did the one sort of change I made to things, and thank you, Dave, for getting that into the agenda. We'd had this problem with the Zoom meeting links before, the short URL, and I couldn't change that without signing up for a paid plan with Bitly, but I realized we have a website and I know how to make a redirect. So we now redirect through our site instead, which is better, so we can control that and fix those issues a little easier without having to change the URL or anything. So that's all good. Zach and I have not met to
I got nothing.
make sure that he knows how to set all this up. But maybe you can come early next meeting.
Sure.
And we can set it up together.
And then if you can email me Don's directions.
Yep.
I
Yep.
can
Let me make a note.
put that in my noggin beforehand.
Yep, we'll do. Okay. That's it. That's all I got.
I have to tell you that having that big screen is
It's very distracting. Sorry.
yeah. When you see yourself in a television screen like that, no, I think it's really good for anybody who's logging in and watching it, video, that they're able to see who actually, I know, I'm going to speak for Karen, that she appreciates not listening to us and wondering who's speaking. You can actually see it now.
I was wondering why it's a mirror image of the actual room though.
Oh, that's how Zoom works in general, and it's because everybody's used to seeing themselves in a mirror. So when you see yourself not mirrored, you look wrong to yourself. So Zoom relatively early on switched from being what other people would see to the mirrored view, so that when you see yourself, you look right to yourself.
Learn something new every day.
And I'm really glad it doesn't have a Zoom component on that, to zoom on the people who are talking.
Yeah, we could turn that on, but I'm not going
Oh,
to.
you wanna make that happen?
No, we really don't.
But yeah, but hopefully, Karen, this will work better. You know, I'm trying to like take your feedback and improve
I
things.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I am
so.
gonna have to, after the meeting, take pictures of each of your name tags with you next to them so I can remember.
Oh, yeah, and you know what?
Associate faces with names, because you can't actually see the name tags on them.
Yeah, and also I realized the name tags
Don't
face
face.
each other, they don't face the camera, which
I still don't
that's,
think you'd be able to.
I don't think so either, yeah, because if you were to,
Yeah.
Is there a chance that you might skew the screen a little bit? Because
So the audience
it's out
can
here.
see it?
so we had it skewed. The problem is the camera is attached to the screen. And so when we have the screen over there,
Yeah, you're all
which is
skewed.
better for the audience, then you don't get as good a view of the council and you're seeing the backs of people's heads, so it's harder to see who's talking. So we're kind of trying to juggle those two
And
things.
you don't want two screens in there.
or do we? Should we tap that projector and try to do something crazy?
Exactly.
Zach?
Sorry, I've been.
You're off the committee.
And Nicole, because we have a full complement of 7 council members, we're allowed to have 3 people on any one of the committees. So if you see any of the committee reports that have less than 3, if there's one that you would like to participate on, let me know.
Absolutely.
And we can bring that up at our next council meeting. Okay, moving on to the person with the money, our treasurer's report. Dan?
Well, let's see, the post office got paid for their box. Dave just finally got me the receipt. We got it done from them and they got straightened out. They hadn't cashed their check. I believe Don got paid. I haven't heard from him.
I sent him his payment.
He did? Okay, good. And other than that, we have not yet run out of our budget.
Okay. Can you check with Chief Golly when you get a moment in your busy schedule? Make sure that we're all in sync with her, with the billing with the county?
I hooked she's got something that she stuck into her spot that we'll be dealing with,
Oh, okay.
because that's not a thing the chief does. And I hooked them up with Danielle Fitz at the
Oh, good.
county. So that should be seamless, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you could follow up on that, I
Oh,
want to make
of
sure we
course,
don't have a
yes.
hiccup. That would be awesome.
That's it.
Okay, council comments. I'm going to start with our newest member. Please share with us why you want to join this craziness.
Yes, well, first of all, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure joining you all today and listening in. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself. So I've only been in this community for 2 years, but I plan to be here for the long haul. My family and I purchased property here, and I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she's in school here, and I really appreciate this community. So that's part of it. The other part is my background is in hospitality, hotels, general management, sales. So honestly, the economic development team sort of speaks to me a little bit on that front. So I'm currently working in that role. I work remotely for several hotels, and I've also managed, a 200-room hotel and run events and done fundraising and run budgets and staff and things like that. So that's some of the items that I can bring to the table, but I'm a fast learner, and I want to do well for the community. I want to make sure that my daughter has a great place to grow up, and that we do the right things by our community members. So that's why I wanted to join and serve. You have any
Thank you for
questions
that.
for me?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Yeah, Nicole, where did you come from?
Oh, well, originally I'm born in Southern California, lived in the Bay Area for a while, but I grew up in Lake Tahoe, actually. So, that's where it came from, and we loved that area as well, but, we wanted to, this is the place I've always wanted to be. I came here growing up as a kid, camping all over the coast, and, we are so happy to be here. We love Lake Tahoe as well. I've been fortunate enough to live in very beautiful places. I don't know how I got so lucky, but this is where we will finish out our days. My husband also works in the community. He does woodworking, so cabinetry, custom cabinetry. So that's what he's doing right now. And I have the grandparents in tow as well. So yeah, we're one big happy family.
Oh, great.
So you were in the hospitality business up in Tahoe?
I was, yes, yeah.
In the South Shore or somewhere else?
No, in Incline Village, actually. So
Okay.
I was, that's where I kind of grew up. Well, Southern California and North, split. But I don't know if anybody's familiar with Martis Camp or West Shore Cafe in the North Shore, Homewood area, Homewood Ski Mountain. I did a lot of-
Homewood for a couple of
Yeah,
years.
so right there,
Ran
right.
the Alpen House, is it still there?
The Alpen House is still there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a few years now, obviously. But yeah, so that was my old stomping grounds. I lived in Tahoe City and Incline Village
Right.
and worked in Homewood and for the community of Martis Camp, and did a lot of the events and concierge work and stuff for that community. So yeah, it's been an adventurous career path, but never a dull moment. But yeah, hopefully I can be of service to all of you
Great. All
and the
right.
community.
Thank you. Dan, do you have any council comments?
Just a reminder, your Form 700s are due on the 1st of next month.
1st of March?
I believe that's what I got from the county.
Did you get a
I
letter
got a
from the county?
reminder from the county saying that the Form 700s are due March 1st.
What are the Form 700s?
Yeah, the form,
Financial
it's,
Oh, okay,
yeah, so you declare what you're doing.
gotcha,
Yeah, it's about conflict of interest mainly.
understood.
I think you're probably your deadline is probably 60 days after appointment.
No, it's April 1.
April 1.
April 1 for all of us, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's
Is
what,
it April 1?
Yeah,
yeah, that's what because that's GCSD, that's the, I was just looking through the special district calendar for that.
Everybody.
It's only that day, if I'm gonna procrastinate for another month.
But do remember, they find you every day.
I know, I'm not gonna.
yeah.
Dan, were you the only one on the council that received correspondence from Bartolome?
I don't know if anybody else did
I
or
didn't
not.
get
I did not.
I did not.
I did.
It's happened often.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hit or miss over there. So if you don't
Yes.
mind, would you send to all of us the correspondence from her?
Just a
Because usually
reminder.
that's the form and then a couple other instruction pieces. Great.
Yeah, I'll find that.
Please do.
It's been a,
The other detail, though, is that it's April 1, the due date is there, but it has to be a paper printed, wet signed document mailed back to them.
yes.
So don't wait till the first, Zachary. Or
I won't.
It's $10 a day.
I feel like, didn't they last year let it be an emailed?
Electronic
document?
signature or?
No, it was
No,
it was
it's
a real
it's
deal.
all
Yeah.
wet.
And I remember I submitted mine, it had to have been the day or two before the deadline, but because it was postmarked,
They accepted it.
they accepted it. I'm terrible with mail, I'm the worst.
In light of-
person for mail.
In light of which, the post office is no longer marking things the day they get them.
Right,
Unless you request.
not
So-
until,
Do it a week ahead.
yeah, unless you stand in line and have them do
Thank
it.
you, guys.
Your taxes, whatever it is, do them a week ahead at least. And
Yeah, if you could push that route, that'd be great.
Yes.
And so Nicole, if you haven't done this before, it's the Fair Political Practices Commission. It's pretty straightforward. Don't get all hung up about it. Again,
Yeah.
it's not a reason to be anxious, but you will be signing it as a newly appointed person. The rest of us are doing annuals. But you'll see, if you have any questions about it, you can there'll be a contact point on that email that Dan will send out. But you can also hit up any of us since we've done it before.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Were you sworn in?
Not yet, they're gonna be mailing me, they emailed me and said that within 14 days I would have the document, and then I need to go to Ukiah to be sworn in.
Because usually when you're appointed to a new
That's what they said
office,
in the email.
they give you the Form 700 right there, because you
So
fill
they
that
may
out
be
as,
mailing it
as
to
a
me.
new appointment.
Yeah.
They're making you go to Ukiah?
That's what the email said.
That's what the county
No, that's-
clerk is.
yeah.
That's not what I had to do. They
I
just-
sure did.
They just sent me the paperwork and I signed it and mailed it back.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I
it'll
was
be
lucky
that way.
enough to have Ted here at my first
Oh,
meeting.
that's right, he signed yours,
Because your
Oh.
supervisor, yeah.
Can do it?
too.
Okay,
So, yeah, when you go for your,
Email Ted, go to Manchester.
being sworn in, then, go ahead and have them give you the Form
Do that.
700 and fill that out
Okay.
there. As your first appointment.
yeah, and I haven't received it as of yet, but,
Pretty hot and bubbly.
I am, sorry, I'm just trying to think this through. There haven't been any close votes, but I think as a technical matter,
Yes.
I don't think any of your votes count.
they don't.
until you're
I read
sworn
that
in.
in
Right.
my
Okay.
documentation.
Okay.
It
But
doesn't.
also, I don't know if
until-
you voted on anything anyway.
No,
I think you just abstained on it.
yeah, I didn't speak during that time period,
Well,
and,
you're welcome to speak. but-
well, no, but I mean,
Yeah.
when you called for a vote, so,
Oh, right,
but
right.
yeah.
So
Um,
it's just a unanimous vote of those that were
Mhm.
able to vote, so.
And then, just for the record, last year they did allow a digital signature. That is, I checked in my email and they had sent instructions for a digital signature.
Okay.
And that's how I did it last year.
We'll check with them. because
Hopefully they'll let us
they're-
do that.
Yeah, their whole system's kind of changing.
And no need to tear the roads up anymore.
Dave, do you have anything under council comments?
No, I'll add in when we talk about schedule.
Okay. Henry, do you have anything?
Yeah, the only thing is I just wanna, thank Dave for, his, very thoughtful, note for the coastal commission. I thought that was perfectly summed up, GMAC's approach to all of this and resolutions prior. So I appreciate you going and speaking, I appreciate you writing all that out, and representing us so ably.
Thank you.
Okay. Zach, do you have anything?
No.
Robert? Nothing, okay. So we have our March and April meetings to discuss. Do you want to kick that off, or?
Sure. We, due to a conflict with Coast Life Support District EMT training, this happened last year too.
Right.
We don't have access to this room on our usual first Thursday interval this month, in March, and again in April. We'll be able to get back to the first Thursdays as of May 7. So the next couple meetings, as I mentioned on the agenda, first page, next couple meetings are
On Wednesday.
first Wednesdays in March, first Wednesday in April. Our next meeting is gonna be March 4. So just please do keep that in mind, a little perturbation. Having said that, I will not be able to attend on the 4th, on April 1st, due to religious holiday observation. I think Dan, you also.
And Dan, you're
What's
not
that?
gonna be here on April 1st?
That's correct.
Anybody else not gonna be here on April 1st? I just wanna make sure we have a quorum.
So get sworn in so you can
So,
No.
save Kevin's bacon.
Wait a minute, Kevin Bacon?
Kevin Bacon, I've heard that name.
3 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
That was,
The resemblance is striking.
okay, hearing no other, I think we're good on our dates for our next two meetings. The all-important item number 13. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
We have a motion by Zach, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 7:55. Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna stop the recording.
Henry, you were the second.